This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Wednesday, September the 19th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, police were last night investigating the suspicious death of a man. Information was sketchy last night, but Acting Public Relations Officer Station Sergeant Michael Blackman said police were called to the scene of an unnatural death at 5th Avenue, Rowans Park North, St. George, from where a woman was also rushed to hospital for medical attention.
The police responded to a report at 5th Avenue, Rowans Park North, St. George. On arrival, the lifeless body of a male was discovered at a residence. A female was also discovered at the residence in somewhat of a semi-conscious state. She has gone off to QEH for medical attention.
Meanwhile, all 11 convicts on death row at Her Majesty's Prison Dodds St. Philip will now have to be resentenced. That was disclosed last night by Attorney General Dale Marshall while wrapping up debate on the Offences Against the Person Amendment Bill 2018, which provides for the abolition of the mandatory death sentence following a recent order of the Caribbean Court of Justice. Now, the Caribbean Court of Justice is this island's final court of appeal. Marshall told the House of Assembly that the CCJ ruled that the mandatory death sentence here was unconstitutional.
Now, the 11 who are currently in Dodds, by ruling that their sentence is unconstitutional, they will all have to be resentenced. Now, let me explain what that means, sir. It means, Mr. Speaker, that the court, and in fact, the Inter-American Court of Human Rights has already ordered, sir, resentencing in respect of, I think, 2 individuals. But what it really means is that the individuals will go back to court and the judge will take into account such matters as he needs to take into account and then make a decision, which is what they're going to be doing henceforth.
Attorney General Marshall also disclosed that right now there are 62 Barbadians awaiting trial for murder and 6 for manslaughter. He noted that because of the CCJ ruling, these may not even be sentenced to death.
If an individual is convicted of murder tomorrow, the judge will immediately go to the Offense Against the Person Act, which says that he must sentence that individual to death. But the problem is that he is also bound by the decision of the Caribbean Court of Justice, which says that you cannot sentence that individual to death. So, sir, we have had to have a discussion with the Director of Public Prosecutions in Barbados, and notwithstanding that we've told her that we want all of the murder cases fast-tracked and bring these people to the courts, we've had to tell her, but hold, don't do it yet. Because if a person is convicted tomorrow, that judge can't go left and he can't go right. He can't sentence them to death, but he can't not sentence them to death. Now, how can a responsible government put a judge in that position?
The Offences Against the Person Amendment Bill was passed. In other news now, government will be chopping the unemployment benefits fund in half in an effort to provide the planned retooling, empowering, retraining, and enfranchising program, or the RERE program, come January next year. Prime Minister Mia Mottley made the announcement yesterday as she addressed the 2nd annual BIT Blockchain Conference at the Hilton Resort under the theme, Central Bank Meets Blockchain from the Ground Up. Mottley said the $30 million training fund, which forms part of a wider shakeup of the government entities, was to make Barbados fit for purpose.
We have committed to mobilize our training levy, and as of January, we hope that portion that is now going to the Unemployment Benefit Fund will be split in half that comes from a healthy severance payments fund, and we hope that our social partners will work with us in this way, such that we can commit $30 million a year for each of the next 4 years for the most comprehensive retraining of Barbadian workers and professionals that this country has ever seen. Because on the other side of it, on the other side of the exercise, we must be globally fit for purpose.
After more than 2 years of demanding a new headquarters for this country's border control agency, the National Union of Public Workers is hailing last month's relocation of the Immigration Department as an example of the effectiveness of collective bargaining. After 5 missed deadlines for the completion of the new immigration headquarters at the Princess Alice Highway, 50% of the immigration's operation has been relocated from Wharf Road building, which was condemned since 2016, though the rest of the services are expected to be in the new facility by the end of October. Yesterday, General Secretary of the NUPW, Rosalind Smith, told Barbados Today she was pleased that government was able to meet the August 20th deadline and considers the matter now closed.
The workers seem to be satisfied at least in the set of the new building, and we hope that by the end of October, the other 50% will occupy the building. And I see, it was a long road, but I think at the end of the day, we're pleased and happy.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
And welcome back with news from the region now. The Minister of Health in Trinidad and Tobago, Terence Dale Singh, has responded to the cries of the mother of an 18-month-old baby girl, Shanice Jackson, who could die if she does not get an urgent liver transplant.
First of all, I want to empathize with the parents. No parent should have to be going through this. The hospital in Argentina, Hospital Privado, via ETHE, they have refused the case because they have never done a liver transplant on an incompatible donor. All that they have done for us is with compatible donors. We are awaiting word from an institution in India with their success rate with incompatible donors. The main solution, as we have been advising the family, is to get a relative to come forward who is compatible. That is the best option. And the parents have been advised of this. Get a relative to come forward that is compatible. One of the other complications with a non-compatible donor is that you have to get judicial authorization for any South American hospital to perform this type of surgery once it is a non-family member. So this is a further complication because the South American countries require judicial authorization if it is a non-family member.
And on the international scene, a woman who has accused President Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, of sexual assault decades ago has not yet agreed to testify at a U.S. Senate hearing set for next Monday, raising questions about whether the high-stakes public showdown will take place. We pick up the story in this Reuters report.
It's shaping up as one of the most explosive hearings on Capitol Hill in more than 25 years, if it actually happens. Republicans say they haven't heard from the woman who has accused President Trump's Supreme Court pick of sexual assault, saying they might cancel next Monday's planned testimony if she doesn't come forward.
Hopefully, the woman will come forward, state her case.
I'm Andy Sullivan in Washington, where the Republican plan to push the Supreme Court to the right is up in the air. Next Monday's hearing, a chance to examine closely these accusations, but Democrats and Republicans are deeply at odds over how it should play out. Both sides acutely aware that the stakes have suddenly gotten higher, and they're wary of making a misstep ahead of the November elections.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Now you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.